entertainment, communication, information gathering, play, and learning. Tablets are becoming a common device in this digital world. In order to explore the effects of using literacy apps and tablets on emergent literacy, Michelle Newman conducted a study using a pre-test, post-test randomized control group design. 48 English-speaking children were recruited from 6 childcare centres in southeast Queensland, Australia. Participating children at each of the 6 childcare centres were randomly assigned using a number generator and placed into groups of 3 or 4. Each of these groups was then randomly allocated to be an iPad intervention or control groups, with the constraint that the total number of iPad and control groups were equal. Following this procedure, there were 7 iPad groups and 7 control groups distributed across the 6 centers. Prior to the commencement of the study, all 48 children were assessed for 30 minutes on emergency literacy skills, print concepts, letter name and letter sound knowledge, numeral name knowledge, name writing, and letter writing. And the test-retest reliability for all of the assessments was acceptable and above 0.70. Throughout the 9-week intervention program, the children in the iPad groups were removed from their regular classroom and brought into a quiet room with a trained instructor. The children sat on a comfortable mat on the floor, and each child was provided with an iPad for a 30-minute session. Children were introduced to 3 focus letters per week using 3 apps and had 10 minutes to play each app and complete specific tasks related to the focus letters. The instructor's role was to supervise the children to ensure they stayed on task and completed each one. And it was the same instructor that facilitated the sessions for all of the groups at all of the different centers. The literacy apps were carefully selected based on digital application criteria developed by Hillman and Marshall to ensure the apps were suitable for young children and designed to support early literacy learning. These literacy apps contained key literacy features and activities such as letter matching, letter tracing, and drawing. Endless Alphabet, The Draw Buddy, and Letter School were downloaded onto iPad Air 2s, and even the youngest children were able to use them independently and competently. In the 2 weeks following the last iPad session, all of the children were reassessed for 30 minutes on emergency literacy skills, and univariate and COVAs were used to examine differences in post-test scores between the control and the intervention groups. Pre-test scores and age were used as covariates. The ANCOVA showed that the children in the iPad group performed significantly better than the control group on letter name and sound knowledge and name writing, but there was no significant differences between groups were found for letter writing, and the lack of significant differences on numeral name knowledge was expected because the apps focused on letters and words. The results of the study show that when used effectively and with a purpose, tablets and apps can be used to enhance emergent literacy skills in young children. But it is important to consider the limitations of this study and how a larger sample size with participants of the same age and from various communities could elicit different results. Also, in this study, name writing and letter writing were assessed using a paper and pencil, and throughout the 9-week intervention, the children were practicing using their finger, which does not require the same fine motor skills as using a pencil. Further investigation into the effects of children's attention and fine motor skills on their ability to use an iPad is also needed, and a next step would be to test the iPad program with children's regular classroom teachers to determine the effectiveness of using iPads and apps on emergent literacy, and how classroom-level factors may impact upon learning. Some possible mediators include the instructor ensuring activities were completed and the ability of the parents to help at home, and previous exposure to an iPad, while the wide range in age of children, the socioeconomic status of the families, and the use of other literacy-enhancing tools could be possible moderators.